Hi, Keith Wilson here, and today I want to show you the very powerful import feature built into Act 2010. Now before I start, I just want to make you aware of something which no doubt you'll notice as soon as I start anyway. This lesson was recorded using Act 2009, but the reason I haven't modified it for this presentation is simply because the process is exactly the same in both versions. So rather than reinvent the wheel, I thought it best to be productive and simply recycle this one. So that said, let's get started because I have a lot to show you and I guarantee it will provide you with fantastic value. I want to show you how you can quickly and easily get data in from your Sage 50 account software, your Outlook contacts, or an Excel spreadsheet. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to look at my customers within my Sage 50 accounts program. Okay, here's my customer list. And what I want to do is export all of this data as a CSV. Now, a CSV is the industry standard format and stands for comma separated values, which in simple terms means that each one of these columns is separated by a comma. And that's how the relevant application that's going to import the data in distinguishes between one field and the next. Okay, so within the customer list, we want to choose from the toolbar Reports. Okay, here's our customer reports list. We want to open the customer details reports, and the one we want to choose is customer record CSV. We want to output this to a file, so depending on what option you typically have selected, file is what we want to choose, and then generate report. The first thing we need to do is give it a file name, so I'm going to call this Sage Customer List, and we have to choose a suitable output type. Now PDF is a Adobe Acrobat file, and what we actually want to choose is comma separated values. Typically a CSV will be associated with Microsoft Excel, so when you open that particular file, Excel will open in advance, and then subsequently the file that you're selecting will open within that application. Okay, so we've given it a file name, we've chosen the file type, and now we simply need to choose where to save it to. I'm going to save it to my desktop and click on Save. Sage now asks which of those customers I want to export. If I leave everything as is, by default all customers will get exported. So I'm simply going to click OK. So nothing difficult there. That has now exported all of those customers which I have within my Sage Sales Ledger out to a CSV file which now can be read within Microsoft Excel. So let's now open that file. Here we are in Microsoft Excel. If we open up that file on our desktop, you may notice that we can't actually see that file, and the reason we can't see that file is that we're only selecting Excel files. So if we click on the drop down list here and choose text files, which includes CSV, now we can see there's our file, and if we highlight that and click on open, there's all of the data from our Sage customer list that we've exported. So here we are within our Act database, and we now go to File and Import. And it just takes you through a very simple step-by-step wizard. So the first option you choose is the type of file that you want to import. In this instance, we want a text delimited file, and here we browse to the file that we've saved on our desktop. Obviously, if you've saved yours elsewhere, you simply need to browse to that location. So here I'll choose desktop. And again, you'll notice that the file that I saved is not in the list. And the reason that is that this is typically looking at text files. If I click on the drop-down list, choose comma separated values, there is the file that we've just saved. I highlight it, click open, and then subsequently click on next. Okay, so what type of records would you like to import? Because we can import into the contact level of the database, the group module, or the company level, I have all three options available to me. In this instance, I'm going to keep it nice and simple, and I'm just going to choose contact records. Okay, so how is your import file prepared? Now, by default, again, as I said, a CSV means that each column is separated by a comma. So this is by default the option that you would select. And had we have not put the column headings in, as I've just shown you, then typically you may want to choose to tick this particular option. Now, because I obviously put column headings in to easily identify the fields within my spreadsheet to those that are going to be mapped in ACT, if I was to import the first record, I would get a record within ACT with the column headings, which in this instance, clearly I would not want. So in my example, I'm going to untick that particular option and click on next. Have the ability to use a predefined map. I'm not going to go into great detail here. So again, do not use a predefined map and click on next. Okay, and this is almost the last step. So we basically have these fields within our CSV file, so that you're probably aware of the information that we had contained within those relevant column headings. And these are the fields within ACT that the data is going to be mapped to. Now you'll notice every single field, with the exception of facts, has automatically been mapped. Now the reason that the facts field has not, because within ACT that particular field is called fax phone. So now what we're basically saying is this field within our CSV file is going to be mapped to this field within ACT. And before we perform our import, we had 30 records in our CSV, so I can simply go through one at a time using this option and just see how the data is going to import. Once I'm happy with all of the relevant information, because it seems to me that everything is mapped to where I want it, I simply click on next. This dialog box allows me to define how I want to treat any duplicate records. Again, because we're starting off from scratch, I'm not going to go into any detail here, and I'm just going to choose next. Get a summary screen that just highlights the relevant settings that we've defined. I'm perfectly happy with that, so I simply click on finish. Now notice that at this moment in time, I've just got simply one record within my ACT database, which is my own record, as you see on screen. Now when I click on finish, ACT performs the import. You may recall there was 30 records in that database, in that particular spreadsheet. So obviously I've now got 31 records, and I can simply scroll through, and you'll notice all of the relevant fields have been pre-populated with the information that I specified.